Blue Lock just keeps cooking all the time. As in this chapter, we head right back to side B, where we see some really familiar faces, but to know more, you will have to wait. But trust me, there is a ton more stuff, so get ready. Alright, so starting off this chapter, also called This Is It, we head straight into the Blue Lock side B area, and on top of that, even getting to 90 minutes earlier, here we see some random player who asks if the two of them are the cage. Beside him, we have the monster of side B, Mizuki, who says that they just need to keep the two birds from stealing the ball until the time runs out. With that out of the way, we then cut to Shindo, who tells them that they are spot on. He looks super confident as he says that only the first 3 successful pairs can pass. He continues and says that for Blue Lock side B's first stage, the bird cage, the first birds are both Nagi and Kira. With that, we see the game starting right away as the ball gets launched into the air. With that, we see Nagi, which really feels strange as it has been such a long time now. Anyway, Nagi looks super ready as he tells Kira to come on. Kira, however, seems to have been taking something because he's just super strange, saying his name over and over again. But then, in the next panel, we see them sprinting forward with all that they possibly can. We see that the ball lands in the hands of someone who looks too cool to be a side character, but then someone to his left tells him not to let them take it and to instead pass it to him. The cool guy tells him that he already knows and passes the ball and escapes. We then see the ball going to another no-name who manages to do Kira over. It even sounds like he laughs. As he does that, Kira obviously gets mad at that and says that rushing them one at a time is useless. With that in mind, he tells Nagi that he will chase them to narrow down his targets and then for Nagi to predict who to corner. Nagi just goes along with it because, why not, to be honest. Anyway, with that, we see Kira dashing to another no-name, and seeing Kira going at him actually seems to send fear into him as he is rushing with full force. We then see the annoying no-name from earlier, who asks him what he is doing and tells him not to hold on to it. With that, the other no-name gives in and passes the ball to his left. After that, we see one of my goats, one of my kings in Blue Lock, and one of the most underrated goats in the series who is, of course, the Messi of Omori, Nishioka, who just barely manages to catch the ball. He then screams at the earlier player to be more precise with his passes. But just then, we see Nagi going towards Nishioka in an instant and telling him that he is going to corner him. Then a no-name tells Nishioka that Nagi's coming like the goat. Nishioka doesn't have eyes of his own. But Nagi then even tells him that he's going to take the ball, which is a bit too cocky when going up against the goat. We see Nishioka being a bit in shock, but it's of course just an act because he would never be struggling. Someone then tells Nishioka to pass the ball, and I don't know who he thinks he is ordering around, but Nishioka decides to be humble and do as he says. When he then passes the ball, we see Nagi jumping in his way and taking the pass right in his face. Nishioka is, of course, the sweetest ever, so he right away apologizes to Nagi about it. Nagi, however, feels scared in the presence of Nishioka, so he doesn't dare to answer him. So instead he tells Kira that he managed to corner them. We then see the ball soaring over Kira as he tells him, "Good job." But just when their plan was about to come full circle, we then see Shindo jumping above them and stealing the ball while telling them that they make a good duo. However, he doesn't stop there, as he still has that smug expression on his face as he tells them that just touching the ball isn't enough and that they won't pass unless they have clear possession. Kira seems to be super shocked to see Shindo here. Meanwhile, 2 of the no-names just compliment him. With that, we then see that the time is up and Shindo has the ball. We see all of the players going around him to celebrate, and we then hear Buratsuta's ugly voice as he tells them that the time's up and that the challenge failed. Buratsuta continues as he says that only the 6 players in the first 3 successful bird pairs can pass, telling them that the next bird is Shindo and to give the ball to the cage team before then selecting the partner that he wants to fight alongside. Shindo then actually aura farms a bit as he looks super cool while throwing the ball back and saying that he understands. We then see him speaking out. He says that this is a game you clear with someone else, so he thinks it's testing their cooperation and trust, basically their synergy. He goes further as he explains that it's the opposite of Blue Lock's egotist philosophy. We then see all of the no-names being impressed by him. Meanwhile, Shindo starts to really think. He tells them that on his first impression, Nagi and Kira are both exceptional, but that play told him enough. With that, he tells Kira to beat this together and that he bets that he will have the best synergy in this birdcage with him. This seems to really shock Kira as he just tells him, "Alright," with a worried tone. We then see all of them being in shock that Kira was chosen once again, but suddenly, we see some blood dropping down on the floor. It's from Nagi, who thinks that Shindo is pretty good, but he then says that this pain is fine and that this is Blue Lock after all, and he then looks super ready. With that, we also see that the birdcage has once again started. We see Kira trying to get the ball from a no-name, but they manage to pass it away. The same thing happens to Shindo, but with that, both of them then completely lock in as they start to rush a guy standing in a corner. The guy seems super shocked as he asks what is happening. Kira tells him that he is trapped and calls him a rat, which is pretty funny. Someone else tells him to pass it, and with that, we then see him doing just that as he passes the ball, which bounces over Kira's foot. Kira then looks smug as he says that it's his now, but we then see Nagi having the ball right behind him. He looks super fired up as he tells Kira that it's not his just yet, and that he won't let him win, but we then see Shindo, who starts to smile and tells Nagi that he is wrong. He continues as he tells him that he was waiting for that trap of his. Nagi gets super confused, but it all then comes crashing down on him as Shindo completely fires the ball right into his face, which low-key should be like a red card, but whatever. We then see the other players being stunned by that as they call it brutal. Shindo, however, explains that they can win if they stop Nagi, and that it's not playing dirty, just call it a strategy for success, calling them a bunch of mediocrities, which I know for a fact wasn't aimed at Nishioka anyway. Buratsuta then says that both Shindo and Kira have cleared the first stage birdcage. They then start to leave, but Shindo tells Kira that he now gets it, telling him that he has got skills and that he just lost before due to bad luck, telling him that it looks like Blue Lock itself is really no big deal. Kira, however, is just silent by his side before the two of them then leaves, and getting to advance to the next area, Nagi then gets up and sees them leaving. He holds his hand in front of his face and says that he got hit in the same spot twice, explaining that he got him good and that this sucks and that he is frustrated. He then looks at his hand, which is filled with blood, and thinks that if he loses it's all over. We then see that the next bird is Mizuki, who gets to decide his partner. Mizuki in a nanosecond looks at Nagi, who starts to look super intense and says his name, which is pretty wild when he has got Nishioka there, but I will let it slide. We then get to Nagi, who says that this is it, this tingly feeling, and that he wanted this fire. With that, he looks honestly pretty demonic as he says that he is back Blue Lock, and yeah, he is going demon time after that. However, with that said, I can let you guys know that there will be no break next week, which firstly is just awesome. Then to add on to that, we also have the title for the next chapter, and it's going to be called Relive. Now in my leak video, I previously speculated that it will be about Nagi, because if I'm honest, and it's not about him, then I will be really shocked. I feel like the title Relive is a perfect setup for Nagi, as in this chapter he himself stated that he is getting fired up again, and that will lead to him getting his second chance, and also his second live, which is in turn why the chapter is called Relive. My theory isn't coming out as clearly as I thought it would, but hopefully you guys still understand what I'm getting at. But if you have any other ideas, then be sure to leave them down below. Now to then finally talk about this chapter, I have seen a lot of people saying that they don't care for side B and would much rather skip it. Now I do get that side. You know, we just ended a super intense game between Blue Lock and France, and then we are heading back to side B and has to care about a bunch of randoms. But for me, I really enjoy it. I really like how it cuts off from the intense matches that they are playing in the U20 World Cup and gives us something more chill and easy to take in. Now, is it because I get to see more of Nishioka? Well, that might also be a big part of it, but at least I'm enjoying it. And if you guys are regulars on this channel, then you already know that the Nishioka agenda is starting right now again. Even though I'm like certain that he won't be able to clear it, he is still the one I will be cheering on the most, because seeing him get back into the story would be so dope, and I would give my all for it. But please, if you can let me know which of the players you are cheering on the most, it can be anyone inside of side B, as that would be super fun to read and hopefully some of you even share my Nishioka take. But with that said, to rate this overall chapter, I think I would give it like a 6. It was interesting getting back to side B like I previously said, but I feel like they could have done a lot more. But don't let that influence you and give your own rating down in the comments. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like. Also, if you can, hype the video down below, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.